The first time my mother told me my twin boys were not welcome on the family cruise, I thought I had misunderstood her. I was standing in my kitchen on a rainy Saturday morning, holding a mug of coffee in one hand and my phone in the other. My sons, Noah and Nathan, were sitting at the dining table, arguing over who got the last blueberry pancake. They were 8 years old, identical twins, and completely different personalities. Noah was the quieter one. He loved books, puzzles, and anything that involved figuring out how something worked. Nathan was the opposite. He was loud, funny, and constantly moving, as if his body had forgotten how to sit still. They were my whole world. I had raised them mostly on my own since they were toddlers, after their father Daniel decided that being a husband and a father was not the life he wanted anymore. My mother, Patricia, had never liked talking about Daniel's disappearance from our lives. She always said the divorce was complicated, as if that word could somehow explain why a man could walk away from his children and never look back. But my mother had always been there. At least, I thought she had. That morning, her name appeared on my phone. "Emma, we need to talk about the cruise." I smiled when I answered. "Good morning to you too, Mom." There was no smile in her voice. "Emma, I need you to listen carefully before you react." That sentence immediately made my stomach tighten. What happened? Nothing happened. The cruise is coming up and I need to finalize the passenger list. I glanced toward the twins. The cruise had been planned almost a year earlier. It was supposed to be our family's big reunion. My mother had rented an entire section of a luxury cruise ship for 7 days in the Caribbean. She had invited my younger brother. The morning after I signed the declaration, I woke up before my alarm. For a few seconds, I didn't remember what I had done. Then I saw the folder on my desk. The signed document was still there. I had spent 3 years avoiding the one decision my grandfather had trusted me to make. Now, in less than 24 hours, I had changed everything. Or at least, I had started the process of changing everything. I walked into the kitchen and found Noah and Nathan already awake. They were sitting on opposite sides of the table, eating cereal while watching something on a tablet. Nathan looked up. "Mom, are we still not going on the cruise?" I paused. "That's right." His face fell. "But you said maybe we could go somewhere else?" I smiled. "I did." "Where?" "I don't know yet." Noah put his spoon down. "Can we go somewhere with a pool?" I laughed softly. "Probably." "Can we go somewhere with a beach?" "Probably." "Can we go somewhere with a boat?" I raised an eyebrow. "You're still thinking about boats?" Nathan shrugged. "I like boats." Noah looked at me. "Mom, do we have to go somewhere?" I sat down beside them. "What do you mean?" "I don't care about the cruise." His voice was quiet. The name on the document was Andrew Carter, my younger brother. I stared at it for so long that the letters began to blur. Andrew. My little brother. The same Andrew who had called me 2 weeks earlier to tell me how excited he was about the cruise. The same Andrew who had joked that his daughters were going to spend the entire trip fighting over the best cabin. The same Andrew who had told me, "Emma, you have to come. Mom wants the whole family together." I looked at Laura. "Are you sure?" She nodded. We checked the registration records twice. And the money? Transferred from a family holding account. To a company owned by Andrew? Not directly. She turned the document toward me. The investment company is owned by another corporation. That corporation is controlled by a trust. I frowned. Whose trust? Laura pointed to the bottom of the page. Andrew's. I leaned back in my chair. For a moment, I couldn't speak. How much? Laura told me the answer. I read the sentence again. Your sons were never supposed to know the truth about their father. My hands went cold. For a moment, I couldn't move. I had spent 6 years telling Noah and Nathan that their father had left because he wasn't ready to be a parent. It was the explanation I had been given, the explanation I had believed, the explanation I had repeated to my children whenever they asked why other kids had fathers at soccer games, school events, and birthday parties while they had no one. Now I was standing in a hidden room inside my grandfather's old house, holding a folder with my sons' names on it, and suddenly I wasn't sure if a single word I had told them was true. I turned the page. There was a photograph. Daniel, my ex-husband. He was standing beside a car I recognized. The keys felt heavier than they should have. I stood in the lobby of Carter Family Markets, staring at the old brass keyring in my hand. There were 4 keys. One was labeled Private Office. One was labeled Archive. One had no label at all. And the last one had a small metal tag engraved with a number. 17. The same number as the hidden room in my grandfather's old house. I looked at the man standing in front of me. His name was Harold Mitchell. He had worked for my grandfather for almost 35 years. When I was a child, Harold had been the man who always gave me a piece of candy whenever I visited the office. He had been there before my mother became president, before my father died, before Andrew and Rachel became executives, before the family business became what it was now. How long have you been waiting for me? I asked. Harold looked at his watch. 6 years. I stared at him. What? Your grandfather told me to wait. For what? For you. The note was still on my kitchen table when I came downstairs. I had barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the same words. You should have stayed off the cruise. I stood in the doorway, staring at the paper. For several seconds, I couldn't move. Then I noticed something else. The back door was unlocked. I always locked it. Every night. Twice. I checked it before going upstairs, and I checked it again before going to bed. Someone had been inside my house. Someone had walked through the same rooms where my children slept. Someone had searched through my belongings. And whoever it was had known exactly what they wanted. The folder. My grandfather's evidence. The documents that could expose my family's secrets. I immediately ran upstairs. Noah! Nathan! The boys woke up at the sound of my voice. Noah sat up. Mom! I rushed into their room. They were both there. Safe. I pulled them into my arms. What happened? Nathan asked. Nothing. My voice was shaking. Nothing happened. Noah looked at me. Why are you crying? I touched my face. I hadn't realized I was. I'm okay. But I wasn't. I looked around the room. The windows were locked. The door was closed. Nothing appeared disturbed. Whoever had entered the house had been careful. They hadn't come for the children. They had come for me. I called Laura. She answered immediately. Emma? Someone broke into my house. There was a pause. Are you serious? Yes. Are you and the boys safe? Yes. Don't touch anything. I already touched the note. Emma? I'm sorry. Listen to me. Get the boys out of the house. Where? I didn't hesitate. The moment I saw the message, Every thought disappeared except one: my boys. Noah and Nathan were upstairs. They were sleeping. They had no idea that the adults around them had spent years lying about money, death, betrayal, and the company that was supposed to become their inheritance. And now, someone knew where they were. Someone had been watching us. I grabbed my phone. Laura. Emma? Get to Mrs. Wilson's house. What happened? Someone knows where my children are. There was a pause. What? Don't ask questions. Just go. Emma, where are you? I'm at home. Are you alone? No. Who's with you? My mother. Laura went silent. Your mother? Yes. Emma, you need to get out of there. I know. Call the police. I already did. Then wait for them. I can't. Why? Because my mother says there's another hidden room under the original family store. Laura didn't answer. Laura? I'm here. Did you hear me? Yes. What? Emma, I think I know what she's talking about. I froze. You do? I found an old property map. Where? In your grandfather's records. What did it show? An underground storage area. Under the store? Yes. Why didn't you tell me? I thought it was just an old basement. My mother was watching me. I covered the phone. Mom. She looked at me. Is the room real? She nodded. How do we get inside? There's an entrance in the basement. Do you have the key? She reached into her purse. For several seconds, nobody moved. I stared at the woman standing in front of me. Margaret. The woman I had spent my entire life believing was dead. The woman who had apparently been connected to my grandfather, my father, Daniel, the family trust, and every secret that had been buried for decades. And now, she was standing in front of me, holding a gun. She claimed to be my biological mother. I looked at the woman who had raised me. My mother. The woman who had kissed my forehead when I was sick. The woman who had held my hand on my first day of school. The woman who had been there when I got married. The woman who had helped me give birth to Noah and Nathan. The woman who had thrown my children off a family cruise. I looked between them. Which one of you is my mother? The woman who raised me closed her eyes. Margaret lowered the gun. I am. I pointed at the woman who raised me. Then who is she? Margaret looked at her. Her name is Rebecca. I froze. Rebecca. I had heard that name before. My grandfather's old documents. A name that appeared on several financial records. I had always assumed it was an employee, a lawyer,